And we are live.
Back again for another episode.
Another morning episode with my co-host,
AD Factorede.
and Tom Muffler. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
Yep. So, it's been quite some time since we had the opportunity to meet. There's been some, some time now in the season. The last episode, we really got a lot into like how we wanted to end the year and things of that nature. So, what's on your mind today?
I was thinking, because we always talked about, when we bring guests on, what does success mean to them?
Yes.
Has your version of success changed since the last conversation we've had?
Wow, that's a good question, actually. Has it changed? I don't remember what my version of success was back then, but thinking about where I am now with the new kid, with the new child, my son, definitely my version of success definitely is surrounded around a good, stable family life. Being able to have time for the kids and being able to have meaningful relationships, while still excelling with my career. So I don't remember exactly what my definition of success was, to the T, but I know right now that's really what's front and center to me because I look around in society and I see a lot of people who have characteristics that I don't really feel are beneficial to society. And I think a lot of that could have been to the lack of direction from their parents, lack of love from their parents, and lack of availability from their parents. So, now looking at every aspect of my life, I'm really trying to figure out how I can put myself in a position where I have time to support my kids and my children in their endeavors, support my wife in her endeavors as well, and also have enough free time for me to still have good self-development. So, what that would look like is probably maybe a career that I have some flexibility in, not necessarily having to go to the office every time, and then have some element of it being having ownership as well in some type of business. So I've really been kind of thinking as to what that would be. But right now with my current role, I try to get there as early as possible so I can be out the door at 4. So the office normally opens at 10. I get there anywhere from 8:05 to 8:10 so that I'm there, I'm present, and I'm able to take full control of that time so I don't have to open up my laptop at home, And if I do, it will be for 3 minutes like I did yesterday. It was not a big thing, just a very short thing. Because I feel I spend most of my waking hours, and I think you can agree, with the people you work with. And then when you come home and let's say you spend time with your friends, it's a very small, short period of your whole day. A large percentage of our day is with the people we work with. So I want to maximize that time, but I also want to be in a position where I have more, flexibility down the road.
And now, I guess tying into this, how you said you see people versus success, a lot of things they don't have. How does this tie into your identity? Have you consciously thought about recently what your identity that you want to encompass, or where did you get aspects of your identity? Is that something you kind of just just one day this is who I am, or is it is it evolved over time? Is it something that you've consciously worked on changing?
Yeah, I feel the identity is constantly evolving, but where it would be now is to be to be someone who I think there's 2 types of people, right? There's people who walk in through the door and they're here I am, this is what I got. And then there's people who walk into the door oh, hey Tom, so good to see you, there you are. And I want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be a self-centered person. I would like to be the latter. And I guess what that looks like when talking about meaningful relationships, it's checking in on people, making sure that I have healthy relationships. So there's some people that are not close in proximity, but maybe it's every other week or once a week, giving them a call and checking in. Because I also realize that you never know what the future holds. So it's very important to have to check in with people, to let them know you care about them. And I think especially people who had an influence in your life on who you are, showing gratitude and thanking them for it. And thanking them might not be an overt call, be thank you so much for that time that blah blah blah, I was in the dumps and blah blah blah. But it could be just calling them and be hey, what are you up to? Oh wow, you're on vacation, how's that going for you? And just having a a couple laughs over the phone, even if it's just a 2-3 minute call, because I feel like that, in terms of general wellness, and then also just a better community feel, like that helps a lot with the life experience, I feel personally. And I think it also aids in success, because if you're a good person and you have good people around you and you're nourishing those relationships, I think that spills over to every aspect of your life, especially with a lot of the difficult things you're doing. So like in my instance, it's like changing my my nutritional discipline. So like I've been staying the course of what I've been doing, but now it's not been as painful, because like now I'm like, well, I owe it to the people that I care about, and all these people I have relationships with, to be with them for a long time. Like I don't want to exit the relationship due to like my poor eating habits or my poor nutritional habits or the way that I don't get enough, like I'm not putting good food in my body, that I am no longer there for them, or I'm sick for them, or I become a burden for these people. I hate to say that I'm a burden to people, but like if you eat wrong, if you don't eat well, and you don't take care of your body, you will be a burden to the people you care about. So like again, it's kind of like, I hope that shines a better picture to it.
No, 100% does.
Yeah.
And I think like you're saying, like you're conscious like of like what type of energy and like who you want to show up as.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about like, okay, like your identity, like, okay, I want to be like a loving father, I want to be, a fit father, or I want to be like, the best at whatever your craft right now as financial advisor. Like, do you ever consciously kind of like think about like your identity in those roles?
Yeah, I do. Definitely, I do. I think that's a good question, man, because I think about how I want to be a good father. I think about how I want to be a good husband. I think about how like I want to be a good financial advisor, but I'm not. And what that looks like on a day-to-day basis, again, it's showing up to work early, showing up to work on time. I try to make it simple so that it's not overcomplicated. And then when I'm in the branch, the conversations that I'm having, I try to deliver good advice. So even if someone's coming in for something transactional, I like to let them know, like, hey, listen, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I'm here to do a complimentary financial review to you. With you, I can look over your finances, and there's 1 or 2 things I can help you with. Yes, no, maybe so. I don't take it personal, because at the end of the day, although there is some monetary benefit from them working with me doing a plan for them, although it's free, eventually there's an opportunity for me to make money off of their business, but I'm not pressing them, and I try to like actually do what's best for them, like genuinely. Like there was a client yesterday, her and her husband, the second time that they come in, and their situation, like it's unfolding more and more, and I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea for you to invest, because this money, it sounds like you may want to use it for a down payment on a house in 2 years. So although I would have a monetary windfall and look really good with my new boss of opening that account right now, because there's not much expected of me, being that I just moved to this location, I'm like, it's not worth me putting this family in a bad position. So now we've pivoted the conversation where I'm like, I think it makes sense for me to look at what's going on in the husband's financial life to make sure that it's still suitable, and just to at least put a plan together and be like, hey, you guys mentioned you might be buying a house in 2 years. This is where the money would come from. It wouldn't make sense to do this. Now, if they still go ahead and do that, at least my conscience is clear. I've laid out a path. But another advisor would have, from day one, just kind of just slid them in and not really educate them on the ramifications of what's going on. Mm-hmm. Now, on the husband timeline, like, then I come home, and then it's like, all right, hey honey, like, we should try to see if we can upgrade your car. So I'm exhausted already, but I spend like the next 3-4 hours trying to like figure out, like we went to like 2 dealerships yesterday to figure out.
Your brother went car shopping?
Yeah.
You went car shopping with your brother, now you're going car shopping?
Yeah, basically.
You just love the dealership, you just love cars, don't you?
Yeah, I wish. But yeah, man, just trying to find like a good fit for her needs and stuff like that.
Are you still gonna share just one car?
Initially, yeah.
Initially?
Because she's on maternity leave.
Oh, okay.
So there's no need for 2 cars.
Oh, you guys switched off? That's smart.
Yeah, smart. So she's basically home. So
what are you looking to get?
We don't know yet.
SUV, sedan,
yeah,
truck?
Something that has the 3-row seating capability.
3-row.
Yeah, so just enough space because her family's coming and stuff like that. So Yeah. So that's like 3 other people, and then for traveling.
Are they gonna come, or is the family gonna live with you for a little
No, they're gonna come visit.
Oh, okay.
Come visit. They're gonna be with us for a month. That's not really the main reason, but when we went to Maine, we realized that the edge was small.
Minivan.
Yeah. And,
Toyota
if we-
Sienna, baby. Let's go.
And if we find one that
Toyota Sienna.
fits our
Daddy car.
capabilities, yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna soup that up.
Exactly.
Put a turbo.
Put a turbo in it. No, we're just exploring everything to see what she likes. So, because a car, it's a pretty big purchase.
It's a very big purchase.
Yeah, and it's a depreciating asset. So where do I want to depreciate my assets?
Or do you want your money just to fly away? I mean, crazy. Like the last 5 years, it really wasn't a super depreciating asset, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like some people actually got lucky and they actually made money. If that makes sense. But I don't think that will be forever the case. Who knows?
Absolutely not.
Well, certain cars though, if are you gonna buy or lease?
I don't know yet. I'm still in between. Like if we buy used, 3-4 year old, under 50,000 miles, new, like lease it. Yeah. So that's why I said we're in the very much so exploratory phase. We're going in with an open mind, which is wild to do at a dealership, and we're just seeing we're seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
We're not trying to come to our own conclusions because we're not rushing. It's not like an immediate need. So it's kind of fun. I find it interesting. We're spending time awake. I have to be awake doing it. We're sitting at the dealership just talking and chilling. So it's not like the coolest thing to do, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's different. I'm excited to see the minivan.
Yeah. And we're making a decision for a 3-year, like a 2 to 3 year decision.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So there's a lot of thought put into it.
Some
So
weight,
it's an opportunity to, I don't know, I think it's a collaborative project, right? So we're collaborating together. It's interesting. Because she's on leave now, so she's pretty bored. So last night while I was going to bed, she was still looking at all different types of vehicles. Like she didn't even know what a Toyota Sequoia is, and it's like I see that she's also interested in the whole process. So it's fun. It's a project. So
like everything, but the thing it's all about also framing that as most people I think one thing that I think you do so well is your mindset towards things, which I think is tremendous because when we talked about when you were home on paternity leave, having a kid and not saying all, but a lot of guys would be like, this is awful, I don't get no sleep, all this, versus your mindset was I gotta be dad, I gotta be present to kids, it's a great opportunity. And same thing, buy a car. Most people would be like, this is awful, buying a car sucks, all this, this is fun, this is a fun new process, and you just came from work, and you, again, 2 young kids at home, it's not like you're just
took them to the dealership.
Yeah, it's not like you're free balling out there where you're not working, you don't have a family, and you're okay, I got nothing better to do than go to a dealership.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I love seeing in your life and something that I consciously think of more is just how important your mindset is towards things because it's a choice. It's literally one choice that can change your whole evening, your day, and really your life. It's okay, you got home from work and you're going to dealership. Everyone has a choice. Am I going to make this dreadful, or we're going to try and make this fun and make light of the situation and make it more of a curiosity, exploratory thing, or this is miserable, boring, and tedious.
Yeah.
And it's they both have you're gonna do it anyway, so why not choose a better, more
100%.
conscious, positive mindset?
100%. And this is a big decision because this is where the family is gonna be at. Inside of this is it has to have safety capability. Just really thinking of what we would need.
It's not like AD from 5 years ago. It's let's go fast.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really think too much about it. It was just me. So it's very interesting. And we're really taking our time with the process, which I think is good. I think it's good to go shopping for something when you don't need it, than shopping for it when you're in dire need, because you're not really gonna think about. I hate that. It's funny for sales. You don't like overthinkers because they take their time to make the decision. But someone who's really thinking about all parameters, they're gonna be more likely happy with the choice they make.
100%. And that goes as the same thing. You don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry. You don't go trying to find a partner when you're lonely.
Yes.
It's the same premise because when you
100%.
have other factors coming in, where I need to get a car now, or I'm so hungry I need to go to the grocery store now, you buy or get things that you really don't need.
100%.
Versus if like you're in the right state of mind, like you're in no rush, like you're, you know, mentally, physically, whatever, you can make a more rational decision.
Of course. And, you know, wanted to commend you as well, because I mean, when we started this journey of the podcast, we didn't really know like what it would look, what it would take form and things of that nature, but like here we are now in July and we're still like holding steadfast
I
towards
think
it.
it's episode 29 or 30.
Yeah, 29 or 30, and we're just like still continuing on, despite whatever, because at the end of the day, like I feel like it's the commitment, right? So you make the commitment, but then on top of that, there's going to be things that pop up. Like last night I called you and I was debating whether or not to postpone it or not, but then in an honest evaluation of the week, there was no other viable time. It wasn't going to get easier, because I'm like, okay, is it Wednesday morning? Well, if I do Wednesday morning, that means I definitely can't go to the gym Wednesday morning, or I can't sleep in to catch up more sleep Wednesday morning. So it's better to just do it immediately. Like, you know what I mean? It's just very interesting how, like, you know, you assess the week and you're like, wow, like, even though I'm not chilling with anyone else, it's just car shopping and like helping a friend, like, you know what I mean? The week's packed. Full-time job.
2 kids.
The week is packed.
Try to be healthy.
The week is packed. Because I gotta think of my prep time too. Like, you know what I mean? It's all these things that like just take away from time. You're like, wow, like actually, yes, I will be here tomorrow morning.
And that's the thing. And like the thing is, what I've realized is, you know, people say like, okay, I'll do this when I have more time, or
Never.
And it's not going to come. It's really it's not going to come, especially like if you're somebody who's like progressing and wanting to build great relationships, like build your career. It's just it's like when I get more time. That's the excuse that will never come to fruition.
Yeah.
Because you might get maybe a couple months down the line, you might get like one day like, oh, I have all this time. It's like, I'll go to the gym today.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, it's like, oh, I'm going to the gym today because I have time again.
Yeah.
It's like those things. It's like you got to make time.
Exactly.
And it's saying, by saying yes to something, you're saying no to something.
Wow.
And that's something like, as me, is like I'm working through like being a people pleaser. Is realizing by saying actually yes to something, I'm saying no to something else.
Yeah.
Versus just like saying yes in my thought process because I don't want to disappoint them, what have you. But if I'm saying yes to this, I'm saying no to something or someone else.
Wow.
So I've been more mindful, and that's helped me get through. I think people who struggle with people pleasing, like I did, and I'm working through that. Is like realize by always saying yes, you're saying no to your something else. It could be someone, something. So I think that helps me now be more like safeguard my time and realize like, okay, if I'm saying yes to this,
I'm saying no to something else.
I'm like foregoing something
No
else.
to sleep, no to good nutrition, no to good rest, no to workout,
making
no
money,
to peace of mind, no to making money, no to like self-care, no to rest, like, you know what I mean? No to family time. Like that's so deep. I never really considered that.
Because I feel like something, I mean, from an outside perspective, you have a lot of people wanting your energy and attention. Like you have great relationships and like people always want to hang out and see you. And I feel like you like love it. And so you try to do it. But I feel like now it's like, you know, as life progresses, like you don't have the same time you did in paternity leave. It's probably going to be, you're going to have to say no more.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be tough for you. It's still tough for me.
It's not.
No?
Not at all. Because at the end of the day, like, I had to do with this my whole life. Like, it's kind of like calling you yesterday. Like, I was thinking out loud. So I was like, all right, let me try to, like, you know, figure out if I can push this forward. But when I really considered it and I had you on the phone, I was like, wait a minute. There is no other time. And it's not like I'm literally not hanging out with anyone tomorrow. Like, tomorrow is just for me and my family, right? So I'm going to have my morning time with myself, work, and then family, right? So it's not like I'm sharing it with anyone. Thursday, yes, like, you know, I have like a church program in the evening, but like that's every Thursday. So it's like, it's not like it's a new thing. Friday, there's nothing on my schedule, but I'm like, the morning is mine, the afternoon is work, and then the evening will be car shopping. The only other event that I have to help someone is with Reggie on Saturday. On Saturday, I might be helping Reggie with his food truck for a few hours.
Oh, cool.
But like, still, like.
Are you gonna cook?
No, I'm not a cook, but I don't know I don't know exactly what I'll be helping him with. But like,
because last time we spoke, you were up late helping him with
like stick up labels, right? Yeah, helping him stick labels. Like, you know, I want to support him as well. But awesome. Again, I'm trying to rest so that I'm effective for him on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But like, that's full transparency of my schedule. Like, there's no like, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm seeing this family, like literally, it's like, so I'm strategically resting. So like,
Good.
although like I like looked at my calendar, I was like, it doesn't make sense. It was because I didn't want to push on the inevitable. Like, because if I still have the podcast with you, that could, I don't know, I can put something else in that. But I was like, no, let me stick with the commitment I made to myself to rest, so that going into this weekend, I'm not exhausted for the following week. Because, you know, I don't know, like, the duration and the capacity to help Reggie, because he's a new business owner, and, you know, he's still coming to terms with the reality of being a business owner, which I understand. So rather than being frustrated with kind of like how things may or may not be disorganized, let me just show up.
Everything that can go wrong goes wrong.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's owning a business.
And I understand that. That's why I'm like, all right, I need to rest up so that on Saturday I can be the calm in the storm. Because he's probably going to be freaking out, but it's like, oh, no, dude. Well, he might not be freaking out either.
Hopefully not.
No, he actually might, more likely than not, won't be freaking out. But again, things may happen that we need to,
Just
I need to have a clear mind.
At the right mindset. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I love how you're prioritizing your morning, safeguarding that. Sounds like that's going to be your time moving forward.
Of course.
And I think that's the best time to do it, because a lot of people, and especially just your commitments that you have, something I realized in my life is like, if I don't create that, like, you know, 6 to 8 a.m. space in the morning for myself, the rest of the day will probably most likely not happen.
Yeah. Mine's even, it needs to be like 5 a.m.
Because you're an earlier starter. You get an office at like 8, 10, right?
And it's an hour away, so.
Your office an hour away?
Yeah. It's an hour.
I thought your branch was close.
North Arlington.
Oh.
So, I mean, it could be like 45 minutes.
I also didn't realize your commute was that far.
Yeah, because North Arlington is pretty much close to New York. It's beside Belleville. Like, you know, like you can see the city from there.
Oh, I know you were. I thought you were in a local branch.
I thought I would be 15 minutes from Union, but
Yeah.
you know, they're closing that location. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was another thing. I didn't complain about it. I was just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I honestly was under the impression you told me like 15-minute commute.
Bro, it's been 10, 12 minutes, but now it's farthy. But again.
But honestly, the clientele there is probably better.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's
more
good.
affluent area.
Yeah, it's the tier. There's a tier system with the bank. It actually is like the lowest tier. But again, I'm not going to complain over that because there's still opportunity. They haven't had an advisor there for 6 years. There's an older population, so there's always going to be opportunity wherever you go. It just takes a while to get there. Like, you know what I mean?
The mindset.
And it's like, all right, I just have to show up every day at 8 a.m. and just show my team that I'm serious. And eventually everything's gonna fall into place. The only thing I can control is the controllables. Me showing up on time, the time that I'm there, making proper outbound outreach and taking advantage of every opportunity, and then just it's like planting seeds and just leaving. And you know, you water it at the same time. Like you never know what's gonna happen, and it always works out. Like I've always kind of seen that. But I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, I've really been thinking like, okay, what other opportunities could I take advantage of? It's like, you know, I remember I was talking to my wife about like commission-based opportunities where maybe being at another firm where there's no salary at all, but there's 100% commission. There could be opportunity there because I will have even more flexibility in my time. Because right now I have to be in a branch 10 to 4, but if it's a commission-based job, potentially I can schedule my week where like I'm only working 3 or 4 days a week and I have 3 days of family time. But those 3-4 days a week, one could be at home, 2 of them could be out in the field. Like I have a day that I'm setting up appointments, or 2 days I'm setting up appointments. So if I set up 5 appointments in a day, let's say two or three of them click, that's an opportunity to build a business. So I've really been trying to think about that, you know, in light of my disciplined schedule, and also just wanting to be around the family more, you know. And it'll also make it easier to still have one car if I like have full autonomy of my schedule.
Well, that's true, and especially now you're an hour away. Like you know, there's no if your wife needs to run somewhere, like it's kind of wow. I even think like that because when you're 10 or 12 minutes, like you know, you probably could, like say on your lunch break or something, pop in and like drop something off or like 100%. You know.
Or if I have full control of my schedule, like there's no expectation of my firm to physically be anywhere or do anything because I eat what I kill. You know what I mean? Like I've really been trying to come to terms with
full control over your
full control. They only provide the infrastructure
resources based
based on type of the business that I bring in or the prospects that I have. But other than that, there's no expectation of me to like do X, Y, Z on a day-to-day basis. Because they're like, hey, listen, we're here, we have the resource and infrastructure, but you decide. Because I've really been coming to terms with that, because I think there could be some opportunity there. There's also upside potential. Because if you're working the way you want to work, you're probably going to be more consistent with it. And I've noticed that consistency over time is literally so powerful. And that's a testimony of the guy that we went to his memorial service on Saturday. He always believed that it doesn't matter what it is. Like, he played so many instruments, and his whole idea is just consistency. So setting him aside that 10, 15 minutes to do something, but doing it every single day. Or even if it's 1 or 2 times a week, the same time doing it. And it's amazing how, although he only lived 66 years, he accomplished so much because he had that principle of just consistency over time. And he, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so beautiful to see that. And it really does calm a lot of things down. And I have that kind of, I think I really got that from him. The whole idea of like, okay, showing up, but like the journey of a million steps starts with 1 step. But even going down and planning your steps, like, okay, on Tuesdays I'm gonna do 3 miles. On Mondays I'm gonna do half a mile. But like just sticking to that. And like, okay, on this day I'm gonna have my bigger meal. On this day, like he would create a plan, even to the point in which is in memorial service, everything that was done that day was already orchestrated. It's so beautiful to see that type of planning take place. You know?
And I think that's like everything in life is like just consistency, like showing up. It's like it's not like people like, okay, I want to, be X, Y, and Z. It's not like, having like, it's not like in a year to get to where you want to go. It's not like, okay, I got to do this today and I'll get there in a year. It's what your habits, what you consistently do on a day-to-day basis. Is that moving the needles like 6 months down the line, a year where you want to be. I think people don't evaluate their days enough because like if you look at your average day and how you're spending time, people don't realize like, okay, am I, again, someone might be working like a 9 to 5 or 10 to 4, whatever have you, but they're like, I don't want to be in this role or I want to be moved up in this role. But it's okay, am I taking the conscious steps each day to move that needle? Okay, for example, it might be like showing up to work earlier or staying later to like prove that like you want more.
100%.
If you want to stay in that role and move up in the company. Like that's just what it most likely is. And it's like, are you taking those steps?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. Or it's like, I want to get out of the 9 to 5. Okay, so on your weekends or in your evenings or mornings, are you spending time on growing your side hustle?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's all it is. It's just like looking at your daily habits and like, okay, if you want to be in amazing shape in like 6 months, a year, 3 years, am I working out daily? Am I eating like the right foods each day? Like, do I have habits in place where I don't get this food? I plan my meals. I have this 30, 45 hour dedicated to fitness each day. Like, because otherwise, like our days just get, a wrench gets thrown in. So it's just like looking at the daily habits, and it's like something I've been evaluating more. Is like, okay, I'm good with like my daily like nutrition, like workout habits, and like I guess self improvement, like habits of like safeguard my morning, like reading like at least 5 pages each day, like doing all those little things. But one thing I gotta get a better job of is like blocking more time for my other business, because like I dedicate like 10 to 14 hours a day for pools, and like I've noticed since my schedule, like pools have been taking a lot more time. I just like, it's just like if I get time, I work on the other business. But I have to schedule. I realize I have to constantly schedule either 30 or an hour a day working on growing that business, because I realize like if you go like 3 days go by and I've done nothing for my other business, I'm like, whoa, like this isn't good. So I gotta be conscious of now, work-wise, scheduling time for my other business.
Yeah, no, bro, what you just kind of highlighted is so beautiful, because it's like, while you are conscientious of what's going on, you're also realistic of the demands of life, and they're never gonna stop. Like, they take different shape, form, and addresses,
different stages,
but
seasons.
It's all the same. There's gonna be things you want to do, or there's gonna be things that you put in your mind to get done, and then there's gonna be things that come up that kind of hinder you from it. And it's navigating that becomes a beautiful process of life. And like, again, with success, it's like people who are able to navigate those things have that self-image or self-reflection to realize, oh no, this is what I want and I'm still working towards it. Because if not, you're a hypocrite. You're just saying things that you want to do, but you're not doing it. One thing that I wanted to also kind of put out and label for you as well, in terms of like my whole life now, one thing that has been brought, like me and my wife have talked about, I think to pretty good detail, is like further education. So at one point I started an MBA and I stopped it, because it was around the time that that we thought we were about to have a baby. Unfortunately, God had other plans, and the baby did not survive the pregnancy. But I use that as an excuse not to like move forward with that. But I think another part of that is I didn't have a deep enough. It wasn't something that I cared about to great detail that I was able to press on. So I know that, and I hate to say I know, but right now I'm trying to figure out how to put myself in a mindset where like that further education is just as important as my other goals. Does that make any sense? Because like right now in my mind, it's like, all right, be like having a good relationship with God, having a very, very good relationship with my family and friends, right? And then right under my relationship with God and right above my family and friends, it's like taking care of my health, right? Because bro, like if I die like over like negligence of like not eating well, that's ridiculous. But now it's like now finding a space for that education. It's kind of like that education. Actually, it almost has the same importance of like your business in my kind of sphere, because like it would give me more opportunities and like it would allow me to think of things differently. But again, it's just finding the time to do that. So right now, what I've been exploring is I have a friend who's in investment banking, and I talked to my wife about the CFA, which is a certified financial analyst or something. People who are financial advisors don't normally do that, but I understand that if down the road I want to do my own thing, if down the road I want more opportunities and not be pigeonholed as just an advisor, or even be a better financial advisor, that could be something that helps me. It's just unicorn, it's different. So my friend, he just joined a new team, but we're talking about like in August, he was like maybe like mid-August, he told me like a specific week that we can start studying together. But I'm like, is that a good way to do that? Like to think of doing it with someone else so that we are accountable? Or is that dangerous in the sense that if he's not as serious, then I won't be as serious?
Well, I mean, how friendly are you with him?
Oh, very good. He's a very serious person.
I was saying, like, do you know, like, because I guess my only fear, like, going to, like, things like, okay, if we actually say, hey, we're going to meet at this place to study or library, it's like, okay, we could block out, like, 2 to 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
And then is that 2 to 4 hours a week, just being honest with yourself, this is going to be 2 to 4 hours of, okay, we might study for half hour, but it's going to be 2 hours of just us BSing.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the thing, like, I'm mindful of my relationships in the sense of, like, I know of, like, I want to get actual work done. Like this person I'm not going to get really much any work done. Yeah. And then this person, when I'm with them, we both can be like dialed in. Like you could be here, I could be here. We won't talk for 2 hours. We could do deep work. Versus I know other people, if I'm here and I'm there, like they can't focus.
Yeah.
Or I can't focus even. And so it's just like, it's not going to happen. So it's preparing.
100%.
It's like, so you had to know the relationship with him. If you're like, hey, if we both go here, we could study together and actually study, or is it just going to be like us hanging out being boys?
Yeah, definitely. I believe it will be the latter, given the fact of how serious he was in college and how he was the top of our economics department. He's much younger than me, and he's more he's more sharp in that area. So I was also looking at that as an opportunity to like understand the material better. But with that being said, though, if 2 weeks into it, I'm finding that there's no beneficial. Maybe it makes sense to be like, hey, John, like I don't think it makes sense for us to proceed because I'm not making good use of your time, and I'm also spending time away from my family doing this, and it's not being effective and things of that nature. Because it is a long study period. So when we get going in August, so September, October, November, December, January, the first part of the exam is February, and we need about like 5 to 6 months to study for that first part of the exam, and there's 2 other parts. So I also know that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I kind of looked at this podcast and I was like, I've always wanted to do this, but I wasn't consistent. Part of my consistency is accountability to you. So, bro, things have come up in my life more than your life, or maybe the same, but like, I found that, like, I was the one that had to always move around, but you knew that my will is to be here and to be with you. But if you weren't part of the equation, it would have been a lot easier for this to be a 3-episode thing than a 30-episode thing. So I'm just trying to like mirror that and the success of what we have going on there with that, because I understand that at least aids in the progression of coming through with it. Because on the phone with you yesterday, like it was so helpful, and I'm glad you picked up. It helped me clarify, like, no, I need to be there tomorrow, So.
Mm-hmm. I guess also going to testament of your friend's character, does he have like the type of, and just being honest with it, like, is he like similar to you, where like he's got a lot going on in his life as well?
No,
and it's more sporadic.
Absolutely not.
And then the other question is like, is he very like disciplined, regimented, and like
very?
So I think that'd be good for you.
Very.
I think that'd be a good thing. So I think the only thing that I think if he's disciplined, regimented, and no question that like when he says he's going to show up, he's going to show up. Yeah. I think the only one thing to look out for is like, hey, when we're together, are we actually getting study work done, or are we just hanging out being bros?
Yeah, are we BSing?
Yeah. It's not just always going to be mindful, but I think that the fact that he's like super like dialed in, like routine, regimen, like discipline, that like he's like, hey, whatever, Monday nights at 7 p.m., 7 to 9 we study. Yeah. And like that he'll show up 7 to 9, then I think then that's fine. I think the only way to see it's just like how when you're together, if you're actually studying.
Yeah. And it'll be virtual because he's in New York, so.
Okay, so it's even better actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes it easier, yeah.
Yeah, so just like you just pull up.
He's in Central Park area, so that's kind of far for me.
Yeah, because it's also like it's an opportunity cost. Because that's the thing, you're saying yes to school, education.
That's no to family time.
No to family
100%.
time. Yeah.
There's going to be 1 or 2 nights a week that's.
Mm-hmm. And also weigh the cost of like, okay, if I do this, will it actually like open up more opportunities for more family time or more resources for my family?
Yeah.
And if you really think that that's the case, then I'd say move forward.
Yeah.
And so like you're saying like it sounds like you're lacking. I don't say motivation, but like trying to find like
it's the no. It's coming to terms with the yes to the CFAs, no to family time, no to free time, no to going to bed early maybe once or twice a week. Like, you know what I mean? There's something that's gonna take that.
Something's gonna have to
come down.
Yeah.
Like,
but if you
unwinding from the day from work, like because after work you kind of want to unwind a little bit, but like those 2 days I kind of have to be kind of still on to get the information. Mm-hmm. But the good news is I get to do that. It's not like
opportunity.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity for self-development too. Going into my 30s, because I'm 28, I'm turning 29 in January. If I can procure this, certification by the time I'm 30, 31, it will open up more resources and opportunity for my family.
You truly believe with your certification?
So I'm also coming to terms with that as well. But I mean, I really do think it does. It's not going to hurt me to be a certified financial analyst with my many years of industry experience. It's not going to hurt. And it will be a question like, why'd you decide to get this over the certified financial planner? Well, it's harder. More difficult. It gives me a better understanding of what's going on in the background of finances. So when I deliver advice, I have a more intricate understanding of what's happening. And I also think, in terms of business owners,
and even for yourself, your own investing.
My own investing, yeah. I think also in terms of like business owners, like it almost like gives you, I hate to say accounting background, but allows you to look at the balance sheet differently. Because I think as I kind of move forward, I would want to work more with business owners. Because I really enjoy hearing the kind of struggles and problems that Reggie's going through and seeing him work through it. Because I realize or you even, about what's the business is going on. And I think on the theoretical side, thinking of finances, it could potentially assist as well.
Cool. No, I like it. I think
But then again, it's making a decision. I'm still itching my way towards like making that decision and being bought in, to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's smart because again, like you're just got back to work. This is what, week 2 or week 3?
This is gonna be week 4.
Week 4 back at work.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. So week 4 back at work, and so I think after like a week or 2, you'll know what your schedule entails, and it's like, is it worth the cost?
Yeah.
Because you're saying yes to that, and like you said, you're going to say no to family time, free time, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And if you think it is, then
Uh, Final thoughts. I just wanted to share an update on like the eating regimen, like been meal prepping, which has been helpful. And then also when we went out to Maine, I made sure that I only ate like whole food. So like came back and like the weight didn't fluctuate as much, like which was great. But what I found was even when I was out there, is although we were out to eat, I wasn't like indulged, like because normally when I'm in that position and relaxed, like I want to indulge, but I didn't have a desire to, because I was like, and even dessert. There's one night specifically that my godmother, her husband like had like strawberry cake and all that stuff. It was at night. We had been talking for like 3-4 hours, and he was like, hey honey, could you go get me some of that strawberry shortcake that you made with some whipped cream and all that stuff? And she looked at me, she's like, hey dear, would you like any? And I'm like, no, I'm all right. Do you have any water or lemon? And like I was really craving like a nice lemony water, and I enjoyed it so much. And then she asked me, she was like, dear, I'm surprised you didn't get any cake. Like, why is that? I was like, because I know exactly how it tastes. Like, I know exactly how that strawberry cake. And I didn't feel like I missed out on anything, which I thought was wild. Because, like, normally that late at night, that would be an opportunity to make that decision. But fortunately, earlier on, like a few hours prior, I had a nice protein meal. I had a burger patty, because we went out to eat. I had a burger patty and I had some wings. I had 6 wings. Or 5, because I gave one to baby Shalafin. But it was like enough protein, because they were a big piece of chicken. It was enough protein that I felt like sufficient.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, it's like, I think people think of like, dieting or whatever, think of like depriving yourself. Like, it's not that I can't, it's just I don't want.
Yeah.
I think framing that too is important. It's like, you feel like, oh, I'm dieting, I can't eat that. Or I'm dieting, I don't eat that. It's like, no. It's like, I'm good, I don't want it.
I actually don't want it,
Yeah, I don't want it. Like, and it's like, and the thing initially is you're gonna get everybody crabs in the bucket. Your family, your friends, everybody's gonna try to bring you down. Because no one wants that person who's like, bringing their own food or saying no to dessert or like, they don't like that. Like saying no, especially I see this. I mean, food wise, people know where I stand. Like the new thing is like going out and like people like not drinking. It's the weirdest thing. If like you go in like a social setting and you're not drinking, it's like, why aren't you doing drugs? Like, I don't want to do drugs. Like you do you. I have no problem with that. But it's like crazy. It's like the social pressure of doing drugs, because alcohol is a drug. It's like it blows my mind how like since like they think you have a problem if you're not drinking. It's just wild. But it's being comfortable enough with yourself that like, hey, like I'm doing this because I want to do it and I care about myself. And it's like discipline is really just like, I think the truest state of discipline is just doing it with self-love. So you love yourself enough that you're not going to have dessert late at night, because then you probably won't sleep as good and you'll probably wake up like, super thirsty, craving more sweets. Like you love yourself enough to say no for now. So future you, like, could sit here in front of me and be like, hey, I traveled, like, temptation was there, but I stayed true, and like and now you're proud of yourself. You love yourself for what you did.
Of course, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I stayed the course despite, and bro, there was triggering moments. Like, bro, like grief is very triggering to eat a lot.
Grief.
And I was surprised that like, hey man, like you set it in place and you just trust it. There were so many people that were baffled like by my eating habits. Like even like the deceased wife, she's like, hey, you're not gonna eat anymore. I'm like, I'm actually good, like, because there was a lot of barbecues, cookouts, and all that stuff, which I like because there was a lot of chicken,
protein,
natural, like, and this was in the farm, so like we actually brought some steaks up because it was like so good. But yeah, man, it's like, and I was like, this is sick. Like I had the opportunity to have good burger patties with like good grass-fed meat. Chicken, dude, the chicken, they didn't put any seasoning on it. They just grilled it, and it was so good, like so good. So eggs, real eggs. So like I didn't have a desire to lean into like the desserts and stuff like that. So
again, it's because you're and like they'll see like because like you're working on changing your identity, like like and honestly like just being totally transparent. The tough part is because this is something I dealt with like 3 years ago is. You're making all these habits and like you're doing all the things, but you don't have the results yet. So it is kind of
very difficult.
It's
but I'm very thankful though, because like I told you, I've been weighing myself every day, and when I made that decision, I think a month ago, I was 380, like 375 or something. So like I weighed myself this morning, I was 359. I was like, you know what? Like, and I'm not working out nearly as much as I am before, but it's sticking to the regimen. When I'm at work, I'm focused on work, and then I'm not eating, I'm not stopping by anywhere. I'm going straight home, and then I'm having my meal at home. Like yesterday, me and my wife shared a T-bone steak and a ribeye that we got from Maine. I looked forward to it because I knew it was going to be so good. And it was so good. And it's so filling. And it's going to carry me over till tomorrow. Not tomorrow, till later on this evening. But it's like, I was looking forward to shopping and then the T-bone, and it was so good. Because we got some finishing salt from my godmother. It's just a little, it was so good. It was so good. And the steak was like, I hate to say it, medium rare. But like medium rare because it was on the smoker. So I had that smoky flavor. It was like gourmet, bro. I was sitting there, I was like, what? I couldn't eat. I could go the whole week without eating. If you promised me at the end of the week I'd have the same meal again, which I can get because we have more steaks.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, but obviously we've talked about a lot. Okay, you need to get started. Any final thoughts on your side?
No, I think the main thing is I'm just happy to hear that, like, you know, you're staying consistent. You're staying the route, and it feels like you're doing something that's more sustainable for your current lifestyle. 'Cause I know where you were training probably like probably 3 months ago wasn't 2 times a day or whatever, was not sustainable with your current schedule. Yeah. So I love that to see, like, you know, you found what works for, you know, being dad, busy with work, plus trying to, like, you know, be like have friendship relationships, you know, all that stuff. So I'm happy for it, and I'm rooting for you. And I'm always like, that's the thing, because I've done everything.
Fad.
I've tried it all. I've tried keto. I've tried fasting. I've tried, you know, Whole30, short. Like I think it's called slow carb. I've tried hardcore paleo, like all the things. And the biggest thing at the end of the day is just like consistency and finding a plan that works and sticking to the plan.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing. Is like people. And the tough part is it's not going to be the quickest plan, the one that's going to last the longest.
It's the hardest. Like you probably don't even see any results
for a long time.
For a very long time.
But then I'm just blessed that, like, if you trust the process and, like, you know, you consistently do it, and, like, again, you do check, like, within like 3 months, 6 months, okay, am I making progress? Do I feel better? Am I starting to look better? Like, you don't just like go say I'm going to do this for 3 years and like nothing changes in 3 years. So I think it's like it's more longer, and like there will be micro changes, but I think if the plan's consistent and it doesn't have to be the perfect plan, it's just a good plan, you should see great results. It's like anything. It's like your coach, like he put 15 minutes a day. Like, it wasn't like an hour a day to practice. It just those little things, but over time it pays off. Yeah. So instead of like if 30, 90 days like body transformation, it might be most likely 3 year transformation, but at year 3,
225.
At year 3 though, you're 225 and can sustain that. Versus I've gotten this like body in 30 days, but I was starving myself and miserable because I was hungry, working out twice a day, and it just wasn't sustainable.
100%.
So it's like, playing the long game. It's harder, but
it's very difficult.
It's financial planning.
But that's why I enjoy it. I think
it's everything with life.
As well.
Yeah.
And it's the same principle of that discipline that I carry over to every aspect of my life.
Mm-hmm. And the big thing that I live by is like how you do anything is how you do everything. Like that's how I do it. And like it's a blessing and a curse because like I can't shortcut anything because I know and he knows about it. So like, it's a tougher existence, but I don't shortcut anything because I kept like hey, if I say I'm gonna do this or I tell myself I'm gonna do this, like I do it. And it's like sometimes I'm just so stubborn. It's like it might be staying up later or like doing extra work or driving back to a pool because I like said I was gonna do that. I remember like an hour when like to go back. I'm just so stubborn, but it gets results. Yeah. So, but it's tough though, dude. It's
very difficult
because as you know, temptation is
always like you're a slave to like excellence. Like you know what I mean? It's like tough.
Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it.
Right?
Because then I realized like I don't have as much free time or I don't like have the I can't let myself enjoy things as much anymore. But I'm the most fulfilled and like I'm in a better mental, physical state the more responsibilities you take on. It's hard though. It's work.
It's very difficult, bro.
Yeah, but I think that you can handle it, and I think you'll strive.
And I know you will too.
That's it. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
We appreciate
Look
you.
at this man, he's got to go to work.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta go shower and get some work done.
Work.
Gotta be consistent.